Welcome to everyone. Yes, you can give yourself a round of applause. We're starting the year. So, it is just thrilling to see all of you here. And I know it's hot. The weather did not cooperate perfectly, but it's that notwithstanding, it is just a remarkable day and an exciting one. And I love the fact that we gather here and we start off a year the way we do. We will start in a moment of reflection. I'd like to ask School Chaplain Bob Ganung to give us a prayer of celebration and initiation. Bob, do you want to come forward, please?
No, it's okay. That's okay. I know it did rain this morning, but before I came to this wonderful school, I was at a prep school in Hawaii, and rain was considered a blessing, a special blessing. So let's consider that a blessing today as we enter this wonderful school at Taft. And let us pray together. God of grace and power, wisdom and compassion, we are grateful for the gift of this exciting day here at Taft as we welcome all these bright and capable students and their parents into our fold. Teach them, O God, how to live fully and creatively in this academic community so that they may be able to unearth and cultivate the hidden treasures that lie deep within each one of them. We pray that through their daily interactions with their teachers, coaches, and peers, something wonderful may begin to grow and develop beginning today. Our continued prayer for them is that they will enthusiastically join us in our ongoing quest at Taft to educate the whole student in mind, body, and spirit. And as they embark upon this journey with us, may they discover and affirm their own uniqueness and come to realize in the process that it is only in relation to others that they can develop their full personhood. Bless all these exceptional girls and boys and their families on this glorious day, O God of all the people. Amen. Welcome.
Thank you, Bob. You know what I want to do, though, is I don't know how many of the old boys and old girls we have in here. Normally we're in the quad and they're there, but can we recognize all those kids who helped out? Because they were fantastic. It was just great work. That's for you, John. A parent was complimenting me, and I said, I think we've done this for a lot of years, and so I think we've learned some things. We have some good systems, but the fact of the matter is that worked because we have really remarkable students here. And all of you who are new, you're going to be doing that years from now. You'll be that old boy or old girl. I think it speaks to what's special about this place and the community. We will not be in here too long. I want to share a few remarks, then I'm going to introduce the head monitors of the school. And we will end with me saying something that's hard, which is I'm going to tell you parents that you have to leave. And we do that because it'll be time for us to get to work. And I want you to trust us. And I also would tell you that I think there are probably a number of students who are feeling what one did. I met a boy and I was with his mother and I said, "How are you doing? And do you feel you're ready?" And then right in front of his mom, he said, "I'm ready. It's my mom who's a wreck." And I think that's normal. We've all been there as parents. Pam and I have a son who's a junior and another son who's starting right now. So I know what you're feeling, and it's thrilling and terrifying and exciting all at once. Now, for you students, I want to make the observation that you're a really remarkable group. You're incredibly talented. You make us a better school the minute you come here. You're making us a new school, and I'm thrilled. For the faculty, we look forward to this day. It never gets old. We're eager. We're excited. I think that we're even a little bit nervous. We want to get into the classroom. We want to meet the new faces. We want to get to work together, and you're the reason we do this. And the day's finally here. I don't know how it started for you. Perhaps it was a phone call or a visit to the website and then an interview day. And then this summer and the counting down of the days, those anxious moments where you packed and wondered what you had to bring. You knew that you're entering, I think, one of the nation's great schools. And it's a place of a very passionate faculty, a deep and broad program in the academics and extracurriculars. It's a place with a culture that is rooted in hard work, in honor, in service to others. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art campus, and it has incredible diversity among the students and faculty. In some ways, I like to think that you're entering a very large school. I've never known a student who grew out of opportunities at Taft. It's large in every sense, in particular in all that we offer. But I would add that we are also, in our heart, a really small school. And we are still the place that Horace Taft founded in 1890 in a house in Pelham Manor. He rented the house. He put up a sign that said Mr. Taft School. He had a handful of students, 3 teachers, and they sat down at a dining room table together. That's all. He had no money. He had no campus. He wrote in his journals an entry that I love. 14 of us sat down at the table and we were in for a long fight. We lacked nearly everything except places to eat and sleep. We had no gymnasium, no ball field, no assembly room. But I think he had a vision, and it was compelling, and he had energy, and it still informs us to this day. The mission then, and Bob Genung mentioned it even in his prayer, was simple. We believe in the education of the whole student. It is a simple, compressed, and elegant statement. We haven't changed it. The faculty and I are deeply committed to shaping adolescents intellectually, ethically, spiritually, physically. It's a teaching of the mind and the heart and the body and the soul. Now, from the first day, he wanted a school that had a superb academic reputation and one with rigorous standards in the classroom. And throughout our history and to this day, I think that's the case. But we've also sought to develop the habits of mind and the principles, and in a sense, the moral compass within all of our students. This is a place that is founded on cornerstone values. And my guess is, as parents, you knew that and you chose it. You can't miss this. If you look, our central beliefs are carved in stone and in wood and in glass. These are the things that we talk about all the time as faculty. They're the subjects of talks in this room by teachers, by students, by outside speakers. It's the basis of our curricula, whether that's academics or in the dorms or athletics. And you chose this school, I think, because it was value-centric. Those days when schools said we are value-free, I think are gone. I think schools that are good are very clear about what they stand for. We believe it's important to strive for excellence, to be honest in all your words and deeds, to treat others with respect and kindness, to approach learning very seriously, to work hard and show grit and perseverance, and then to serve others. That's what it means to be part of Taft. I think Taft students learn really quickly that it's cool to be smart and diligent, that it's not acceptable to cheat or lie, that being a bully or mean simply won't play here, and that you'll respect every member of the community. And as new students, you'll rapidly pick up the cultural do's and don'ts, even those that aren't written down as rules. You'll see that you don't talk on your cell phone in public. You don't leave your table a mess in the dining room. You don't come to class unprepared. You do thank people. You do offer hello and offers of help for strangers. You do come to class ready to contribute. You don't have a cell phone go off. That was not a plant. It's not that hard, really. Frankly, it comes down to this. We want you to work hard, be nice, follow the rules. And as parents, by the way, I think that if you did nothing else to help us in this partnership, if you said those 3 things over and over again to your children, work hard, be nice, follow the rules. Now, what can you expect? I'll give you a basic philosophy that I've shared before, and it's in 3 parts, and it's simple. And we don't apologize for it. We feel confident about it, and it's what we stand for. Here's the first thing. You've entered a school that has some structure to it. I believe adolescents need it. You can call me old-fashioned, but I think students need a kind of framework of conduct, of behavior, and expectations and performance. You'll find this in the dormitories, in the classroom, the dining room, the playing field. And if as a new student you're grimacing because it sounds as if Taft is going to be a place with over 100 firm, caring, and present parents, you're right. And we're not going away. That's how we see our role. We embrace it and we love it. We think that personal development can only happen if you have some structure. We don't negotiate on the really important things, and we will pay attention to small things. That you get to class on time, that you dress appropriately, you keep your room clean, that you speak civilly. It's as if we're putting up some speed limits, some street signs, some guardrails on the road of the Taft experience. I would say, though, it's also a place with latitude. That is, if there's structure, we also offer freedom. We offer space. We offer the room. And this means letting students find their own way, try new paths, make their own choices. And I know with this, of course, come setbacks and disappointments and mistakes. I think that's what parenting is. I mean, that's the hardest thing about being a parent. It's knowing that you have to offer your child freedom, and you know that they're going to make dumb choices sometimes. They may fall down. They may have setbacks. And you have to have faith, as we do, that adolescents are incredibly resilient, that they can come back after disappointments, and that they learn from them. And indeed, how many of us have learned most in those moments when we fell down? I think that adolescents need rehearsal. I think they need to go through those moments that are difficult. I think it prepares them for life. So we don't promise that it's going to be an easy journey. We will give them the space that they need to grow. There will be potholes and sharp turns. Experience tells me that, believe it or not, sometimes adolescents even ignore the street signs we put up there. But that's, of course, what growing up is about. And then maybe most important is this. We provide nurture. Parents, you have trusted us, and you are making an extraordinary leap of faith. We don't take that trust lightly. We will come to know and care deeply for your son or daughter. We won't call every time there's a setback or disappointment, and you will not know what he or she is doing every hour of the day. That's not what you wanted from a secondary boarding school. But you should know that your child is entering a place that is nurturing and deeply caring. Our school motto, of course, is about serving. It's about ministering unto. The faculty here, and you've met many of them today, are profoundly caring and compassionate. They chose this vocation, and I think they chose this school particularly because of its communal values and culture and the tradition of close relationships between students and teachers, because they knew that this would be a place where they could hold students to the highest intellectual performance, because they knew it was a place where we would demand that they conduct themselves socially and morally at the highest plane, because they wanted to be at a place where the architecture and history would bring them in close contact with students all the time. They wanted to be at a school that asked them to attend to the heart and the mind and the spirit of every student. They wanted, frankly, to be around you. So new students, I think I can promise three things. I think I can promise that this will be challenging and you'll have great opportunities, that you'll have passionate and caring teachers, and that there will be times which will be difficult, and we will pick you up and try to put you back up there. You've chosen this school because of those expectations. You didn't want an easy place. And if you fall off the high wire of your hopes at some point, we'll catch you. We'll help you through that disappointment, and then we'll ask that you climb back up. We are incredibly confident. We knew this when Mr. Frew and all the others in admissions met you, that you had abilities and character that marked you singular, and that today you begin writing a great career. Let me introduce some of those faculty members and some of what I would call the key members of the school here. And I'd like to be able to put a face to a name and tell you a little bit about what they do. And that way, in the days ahead, if as a student or as a parent you need to reach out to them, you can. Well, the first is the assistant headmaster, Rusty Davis, who is in the back of the room. Rusty is in the back here. Rusty. Rusty's been at the school for over 3 decades. He was the former dean of students. He's an AP physics teacher. He runs the senior administrative team with me. He runs the school in my absence and is a source of incredible wisdom and institutional memory. There are 2 deans of students. I'd like to introduce Carl Carlson and the associate dean of students, Sarah Sanborn. Could they stand, please, so you can see that? Just very briefly, Carl's focus tends to be more with the juniors and seniors, upper mids and seniors, and Sarah with the lower mids and mids. They oversee really all of the discipline system at the school, but also the permissions, so that if you want to have your son or daughter come home for a weekend, you would clear it through their office. So if you have any questions about rules, they would be where you'd go. And by the way, I know it's easy to say, the joke was, I hope that your son or daughter doesn't get to know the dean of students. And quite the reverse. These are terrific educators, and some of the best work they do has nothing to do with the moment when a student has broken a rule. I'd like to introduce as well the Dean of Academic Affairs, John Wilson. Where's John? Hey. John is a Taft graduate. He is a former class dean and the history department chair, and he oversees the academic programs. Many of you have met him already. Some of you have spoken to him during the summer about the course of study. I will put in a very brief plea, if you will, for John, and that is, I think we do a really good job of assigning the right courses. They sometimes do change. What I would say is give us a little bit of time. The fact is probably 95% of students are going to be in exactly the right courses in the right sections. Sometimes over the course of the first week or two, there are changes. John works really closely with the teachers and the students. So if you get a call from your son or daughter the first day of class saying, I'm in a totally wrong class, get me out, I'd say take a deep breath, because, John, is it fair to say it's probably not the case? Probably not. Okay. And one other note, if you are a lower mid, Mr. Wilson reminds you that at the end of classes tomorrow, you'll go to the library. There is a test that you're going to take. It is not a Taft test. It's part of a pretty interesting national study that we're taking part in that'll measure learning accumulated over a career at this school. So again, nothing to study for, nothing to worry about. It'll be in the library, and Mr. Wilson will send you an email on that. Okay, thank you. Charles Thompson, who's our IT director. Charles? Yep. So Mr. Thompson has about 20 years of working in IT in schools. He's also a licensed EMT. He has a background in technical theater. He's a real Renaissance man. If you have questions about connectivity, laptops, email, anything else in that? All of that. What's that? If it has a plug, that's the man you want to talk to, okay? The Director of Counseling is Jean Piacenza. Where's Jean? Jean runs the counseling office and oversees community health. She is a Taft graduate. She's a former math teacher. She ran Mack House Dorm for many years. Her 4 children have come to Taft. She holds an LCSW degree, and I think she and her office provide a remarkable set of support services for the students. Chaplain Bob Ganung, who have you met, please, Bob? If you have, Bob really helps lead the conversation about spiritual life at school, and if you have any questions about worship or spiritual life, you could do that through Bob. He also coaches football and baseball and plays a mean guitar in the faculty rock band, too. So, I'd like to introduce Dr. Diane Fountas. Diane? Diane has been the school's consulting physician for many years, and this year is now working full-time and overseeing the health center. She's had a private practice for over 3 decades. She is, frankly, one of the top pediatricians in the state and has received awards both at the state level and nationally. So if you have any questions about ways in which your son or daughter needs any kind of medical help, advice, or counsel, please reach out to Diane Fountas. I want to introduce the Dean of Multicultural Education, Jamela Lee. Where's Jay Lee? Ms. Lee leads the conversation on the campus about what it is to be a global and diverse community. She teaches courses in the Global Studies and Service Department. She holds 3 advanced degrees. Her office is at the end of Mortara, which is a hallway right on the right as you go into the dining hall. And now let me introduce the class deans. Let me quickly explain what they do. Your son or daughter came in and has a temporary advisor. We want every student to have an advisor the minute they get here. After about 3 weeks, he or she will be able to either stay with that advisor or choose a new advisor. And about half and half, it splits about half and half. Some choose a new one that they've met maybe in the dorm or as a teacher or as a coach, and some stay with that advisor. The other critical person is the class dean. And the class dean I charge to oversee the whole of a student's life. Right? The class dean serves in some ways as the official voice of the school, and he or she will know all that they should about your son or daughter's experience. So in some ways, to the simple question, Mr. McMullen, who would I first go to if I had a question? I would say it would be the class dean. And if he or she can't answer it, they would point you to the people who could. And so the lower mid-class deans are John Bender and Rachel Ryan. Could they stand? Okay. The middle class deans, Jeremy Clifford and Jen Riley. The upper mid class deans are Shannon Guadati and Will Orban. Okay. And the senior class deans are Jack Kennerson and Allison Carlson. So in a second, I want to introduce the head monitors, but I'll close with this thought. I think of those 14 parents in 1890 who brought their sons to Mr. Taft's school, that little small house, and I think about what they felt and the excitement and the anxiety and the fears and the hopes. I know from reading that they were still nailing down bunk beds in the rooms. They were laying carpet on the day that they moved in, just as we were finishing Mac Dorm. What was a school once of 14 white boys, almost all from New England, is now some 580 from around the globe, speaking in some 30 or 40 languages, worshiping in different ways and bringing stunning ethnic and racial and national difference. Those 3 young male teachers are now 125 men and women with enormous expertise and training across the disciplines. And that tiny campus is now 200 acres and I think stunningly beautiful buildings. In the end, I think that small school should not be remembered for what it lacked, but what it had in abundant measure. Compassionate and passionate teachers, curious students, a close community, core values, and a really crystal clear purpose of the education of the whole student. All of this has endured, and to this school, and to that past, and to this future, you are beginning now to write a new career, and I welcome you. So parents, in a few minutes, I will kick you out. I'm going to ask you to let us get to work. But I want you to understand that in addition to the faculty who are going to look out for your sons and daughters, we have some terrific school leaders, and they're sitting in front of me. And this is a group of young men and women who I find really inspiring. They're led by Andrew Cadian-Head and Betsy Sednawi. They're extraordinary leaders, accomplished athletes, and principled and bright students. So I'd like to welcome them to come up here, speak to you, and then introduce the monitors. So they come forward.
Okay, so the school monitors are Elizabeth Shea, Timmy Drakely.
Slow down.
Sorry,
Let them stand.
pardon me, sorry. Elizabeth Shea,
Stand up. Hey.
Timmy Drakely, Henry Wesson, James Talkis, Jagger Riefler, Maggie O'Neill, Liz Demon, and Gabby Fabre. Awesome. All right. To all new students, parents, and faculty, welcome to Taft. My name is Andrew Cadenhead, and I am a 4-year senior from Bronx, New York. It's crazy to think that I'm up here talking to you right now because I remember sitting where you are as if it were yesterday. When I think about my first couple of days at Taft, I laugh at my timid and confused manner. I was a quiet freshman boy trying to fit in and not draw too much attention to myself. However, blending in was a struggle for me. I vividly remember my first day as a freshman, sitting in a sophomore English class for a solid 5 minutes before the teacher asked why I wasn't on our class roster. I slowly collected my things and backed out of the room without much more than a slow, quiet, I don't know. Awkward situations are bound to happen, but you need to push through them as I did when I walked in late to my real English class. It's okay if you're nervous right now. To tell you the truth, I'm nervous right now. My friends joked before I got up here, try not to have a voice crack. Luckily, I haven't had one yet, but there's still time in this speech, so just bear with me if it happens. It's okay to be nervous or scared, but it's the course of action you take when you're feeling this way that will shape your Taft experience. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and try new things. Taft has so many great opportunities, and it's up to you to take advantage of them. That's what makes your time here worthwhile. I want to leave you with 7 pieces of advice before I end my speech. 1, don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. There are so many great people here that can help you. 2, get out of your comfort zone. I know it may sound a bit cliche, but it's a great way to learn about who you are. 3, meet as many people as you can. People come to Taft from all over the world, so take the time to get to know someone you normally wouldn't. 4, manage your time wisely. Playing outside with friends is always fun, but make sure, but make sure you stay on top of your work. 5, make sure to call your parents. They love you. They love you and care that you are having a good time while you're excelling. 6, take care of yourself. High school can be really overwhelming at first, so make sure you're getting enough sleep and eating healthy meals. 7, stay true to yourself and others. Don't feel as though you have to change to fit in. I've gone through Taft trying my hardest to follow these pieces of advice, which in turn has helped define me as an individual. I look forward to having a great year with all of you and getting to know everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Hi, my name is Betsy Sitnawi. I'm from Princeton, New Jersey, and I'm Andrew's co-head monitor. I met him when he walked in late to my English class freshman year. So some of you have been on campus already for a few days at preseason, but for most of you, this is your first day here. I know how it feels to sit in those seats on orientation day, desperately trying to conceal the shake in your hands and ignore the feeling that you're sitting in a sauna, kind of like I have right now. Rest assured, it's easier than you think. In my experience, the faculty support I've received throughout my years has been one of the most important facets of my happiness here. The Taft faculty members are here because they devote their lives to nurturing Taft students, and the more you embrace the fact, the easier your transition will be. I come from a very communicative family. We're open with each other, and my siblings and I feel comfortable talking to our parents about anything. So I knew that once I got to Taft, I would gravitate towards an advisor that made me feel like I had a parent with me here at all times. Sure, just a quick phone call home was all I'd need to talk to my parents, but I wanted Taft to be just as comfortable at Taft as I am at home. My low-mid English teacher was Mr. Campbell, a venerable teacher, coach, and dean here at Taft. Not long into the year, I was confident in asking him to be my advisor. Ever since then, our relationship has blossomed, and now I consider him and Mrs. Campbell to be my parents away from home. Last year, during the week before spring break, I had a lot on my plate, and I started to feel pummeled by a mountain of assignments, hockey practices, class committee meetings, and SAT preparations. Now, this isn't meant to scare you, I assure you. This feeling was only brought on because I bottled up my emotions for days before I even addressed one thing on my checklist. Don't do that. But there I was on the verge of tears nearly every time I thought about my busy schedule. Mr. Campbell knew me well enough to know that I needed a good talking to even before I asked. He ambushed me on the way to the dining hall and invited me to have lunch with him to talk. He knew, however, just as well as I knew, that there wouldn't be much talking coming from his end. The minute we sat down, I started babbling on about how stressed I was, stopping every 10 seconds or so to swallow that feeling in my throat I get when I know I'm about to cry, kind of like I've choked on a gobstopper. For a few minutes, Mr. Campbell patiently listened as I poured my angst into our advising meeting, which probably ended up looking more like a therapy session than a simple catching up. But then, once he could tell I was caught up in the nerves of being a junior, he put a hand on my shoulder and assured me that I could very well handle my load, as I'd done countless times before. He didn't need to say much to show me the light at the end of the tunnel. Moments like this one are the reminders that I have a group of people here as my advocates who really want to see me succeed. What I've noticed over the past 3 years is that Taft is not a sink-or-swim place. There'll be times when you're juggling a lot and it's easy to lose your confidence. But what I recommend you learn early on is that you will always have your own cheerleading squad, as my mom calls it. What I mean is that you will never be alone. Your advisor, your old boy or girl, your dean, your coach, your teachers, and your dorm parents are all there on the sidelines to help you succeed. I know everyone needs a different amount of time to be fully settled into a new place, but to all of you, students and parents alike, you should remember that you will always have a safety net. Mr. and Mrs. Campbell are on sabbatical this year, and though it's definitely a well-earned break from the relentless effort they've put into Taft over their many years, it did take me a while to talk about them leaving for my senior year without tearing up. I've come to realize, though, that the lessons they've taught me over the years will stick even without them here. If you've fallen asleep during this talk, wake up now. I won't take it personally, but this is the most important piece of advice I can think of right now. As Mr. Campbell himself told me in a text recently, do not be afraid to ask for help. I look forward to a great year, and I hope you all do too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Betsy and Andrew. Terrific, and that advice is spot on. Absolutely, and in fact, you may need it in the next few minutes about asking for help, because Orientation for lower mids will be 3:45 up at the field house. Are they meeting anywhere in advance?
Yep, the school moms will meet them at 3:30 in the hallway outside the dining room.
That's it. Okay, so if you were lower mid, the school moms will meet you outside the dining hall. We'll gather the whole class up together, and you guys will take them up to the field house for some orientation. Mids? Same. Mids are with them as well, so lower mids and mids, we'll meet you all there. Upper mids?
Lincoln Lobby.
Upper mids will meet in Lincoln Lobby at 3:45. Lincoln Lobby is that small lobby right outside here with the bust of Lincoln. And the seniors already had their orientation. Okay, so you've got some time, about half an hour. And after that, parents, trust us. We're going to take really, really good care of your children. We're going to put them to work tomorrow and get right to the business of learning. So welcome to Taft, and I hope we start a great year. Thank you.